shit. This one's bad.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy.
Hi everybody, EPC Brian here. So today we are performing a new segment of our Faculty Friday, and this one is going to be called Zot ONES. So today our first professor joining us on the show is, guess who? Dr. Kadandale. So many of you may know him from his rite of passage class, Bio 98, Biochemistry. He also teaches a variety of other classes such as Biochem Lab as well, and is very involved with a lot of pedagogy and teaching classes at UCI, including being the faculty advisor for the Enhanced Academic Student Experience, or EASE program, for first-year biosci students. So Dr. K, thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, Brian. I'm excited to see how this hot stuff works out, or Zot stuff works out.
I love it.
All right.
He's good. He's good. So I guess I'll give a few instructions to see how this kind of show is going to lay out. So you'll notice that we have these 4 hot sauces right here, and it's going from least spicy to most spicy. And then our final one is going to be this one right here. Many of you may know this Pocky hot chip. It's hard to find these nowadays. Hard to find them. A little bit rare, a little bit exclusive. So we're gonna have fun with that. To make things a little more spicy, we're gonna use Takis, and we're going to douse each Takis with each hot sauce here as we progress through the questions. And as the sauces get spicier, so do the questions. They're gonna get a little more in depth. So without further ado, I invite you all to join us on this wonderful journey.
Let's do it.
As we get to know Dr. K a little bit better and suffer as one.
Trauma bonding, right?
Trauma bonding.
Let's do it.
It's a good one. It's a good one. All right. Okay. We'll see.
Right?
Cheers.
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 Okay. No, this
Yeah.
one.
Well,
More
what
about
is that? What is
Yeah.
that? So, students and faculty alike, they praise you for your unique learning style that emphasizes collaboration and also critical thinking. I know many students have talked about the challenge assignments you give them and how it's really helped them grow, but also how it's one of the toughest things they do. So can you tell me a little bit how you arrived to your unique teaching style, and how have you kind of found success in that?
So it's mostly been about thinking through, like, what are the skills that will help you succeed in pretty much any career you decide to go into, right? And so the skills that are really helpful are things like being able to think about data and then apply concepts and solve problems. But in the real world, when you actually go out and you're trying to solve a hard problem, you don't go lock yourself up in a room and say, I'm not going to talk to my buddies, I'm not going to use the internet, I'm not going to use Google, I'm just going to somehow magically solve this problem by myself, right? Your first instinct is to go out and talk to people and collaborate and solve tough problems. And so that was the genesis of, like, how do you bring that into a classroom and help people develop those skills.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing. I guess we can journey on to the
Shall
next
we?
sauce.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is this one like a Carolina Reaper one? I don't think we've gotten there yet, right? This is supposed to be kind of, we can enjoy this one a little bit at the very least.
All right, we've got that one.
Perfect. Awesome. Alrighty, here we go. Cheers. With jalapeño peppers. Yeah.
Ghost pepper.
Wow, those are saying hello. Those are really saying hello. Okay. Let me move on to the next next
Still
question.
nothing?
Yeah, nothing,
on.
nothing. Nah,
Come on.
Come on. You know, obviously, a lot of students in biosci, they might be kind of finding there's so many different career paths to go on, and there might be a lot of uncertainty, especially as you enter your first year. You know,
Yeah.
myself, I was a transfer into biosci, so navigating the field can be a little iffy sometimes. It can be hard to kind of really determine where you want to go in your path. So what advice would you give to a biosci student right now who's still uncertain about where they wanted to go with their career?
So this is the thing I always find funny, right? Like, you don't know something as trivial as what do you want for dinner 3 weeks from now. And yet you think that you're going to be able to predict exactly what you want to be doing with your life, like 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, that's like, like, you don't know what's going to happen in the next 20 years to be able to predict what is it am I going to be wanting to do 20 years from now, right?
Yeah.
So I think a better way to think about it is to be honest with yourself right now and think about what is it that you want to do right now. and then base your career choices on that rather than worrying about, because this is the other thing, I'm sure you might have gone through it, or I've certainly heard other students go through this, like, oh, but how do I know that I want to be, a lawyer 20 years from now? Or how do I know that I'll continue wanting to be a doctor 20 years from now? And the answer is you don't. But so stop worrying about it. Like, just worry about what do you want to do now? Like, what is the right decision for you now? And then go do it. Whoa. Easy there, boy.
Getting a little overzealous over here.
Wow, I think Brian's feeling the heat.
A little bit, I don't know. Just a little bit of the shakes, All right, so this is number 3.
All right, cheers,
there we go.
3.
Wow, you really went to town. We've had spicier.
I don't think this was the right order, man.
No, this one's kind of so sweet.
Yeah.
So welcoming.
All right, this 2x spicy was
I don't know.
marketing.
Yeah, maybe
All right,
we need 5x next time.
All right.
Okay, so there's another question I want to ask you because I know you're very big on research. I know you are a teaching professor as well, but that's kind of your main pursuit here. But in terms of research, I know you offer a lot of guidance to students regarding research. So as someone who just started research myself, and I'm sure for a lot of bio-sci students, especially in the first years starting research, I noticed you emphasized the importance between not just being a lab tech, but in actually being a researcher. And I think this is a very interesting distinction. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
I think the value of getting a research experience at UCI is really to move beyond being a lab tech. Right? A lab tech is kind of like when you take a lab course and you go in, somebody gives you a protocol, you do the experiments, you get some data, you're out of there. Right?
Done. Yeah.
But if you want to get a better research experience, you want to take on that responsibility of independently creating a project, being able to suggest next experiments, to suggest new experiments, or you go to another talk somewhere and you're like, hey, I heard this person used this technique to answer this question. I want to use that same technique to answer this question that we're interested in our lab, but in a different way that nobody's thought of doing it in the lab. Now you're becoming a researcher. Why is that important? Because again, it's about learning how to solve problems and bringing and applying concepts, being an expert at something, right? And what is it that's going to help you succeed when you go out and get a job, or when you start your career, is going to be that idea of, oh, I'm the expert in that field, right? And then people are going to want you, not the person that can just do some chores who's not the expert in the field. So that's the power, I think, of getting a good research experience versus kind of being more of a lab tech kind of position.
Yeah, this time I'm going to be more generous. I feel like, maybe not too generous. Maybe not too generous. Okay, let's choose. Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know about that one.
Dude, we need to get hotter sauces for this.
I know. I feel like this is like a little too tame.
Yeah,
I guess we're professionals. We are trained professionals.
Wow.
All right. So now I kind of have a question too. This is a little bit more about your personal philosophy.
Okay.
As you kind of gone through your life and had the experiences that make you, right? I know one big thing that you always have been fond of talking about is how challenges and adversity is very important to growth. And I think you clearly practice that in your classes. You ask anyone who's taken 98 M114 now, they're gonna be like, yep, good luck. I mean, but in a good way, right? You're gonna be challenged and grow. But where did you arrive to this philosophy through your life?
I think it was just my own experiences growing up, and looked at like how much growth you have when you're actually challenged versus when you're kind of in your comfort zone. You don't really like I don't understand, how do you really grow or learn unless you push yourself out of your comfort zone, right? Every time I think of in my own life, like what were the periods where I really grew, where I was really improved myself, and those were also coincidentally the periods where, oh my God, like life was tough. I had kind of a shitty childhood, but yeah, it was bad at the time, but looking back on it, it also makes me just such a happy person now, right? Like I'm so grateful for the things that I have now, like the ability to be sitting here with awesome students and kind of like having this great conversation is in some sense a result of that hardship that I faced, and being able to the lessons that I learned then, and to be able to connect with people, right? So I think all those experiences help make me a better person. They help make me a better professor, a better mentor to students. I know you've said this, and I've heard from other students as well, that they feel much less of a barrier when they're talking to me, and I think that's a direct consequence of like the hardships I faced. And I realized that we're all just people. Everyone's going to go through shit. No one's special, and you just try and connect as human beings. And those were all lessons that I learned from personal hardships. So yeah, so that's kind of how it's a combination of things.
That was beautiful and very powerful,
Oh,
Dr. K.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, and that's just not to me, but to all the students. Like, we really appreciate you for taking the time to come up here and really open up
Yeah,
about that.
it's fun. Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Are we ready for the
Whew.
finale?
So I'm thinking we can go halvesies on this. What do you think,
Whoa,
Dr. K?
all right.
Is that a little ambitious?
You gotta have big goals, right? Let's
Big
do it.
goals, right? Okay. Okay. What do you think?
All right.
That's about average, right? Okay. All right. So eat
This
and then
is the
question.
big one. Yeah.
This is the big one. All right.
While we're suffering.
While we're suffering.
All right.
Okay.
Oh shit. This one's bad.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy.
Okay. So
And that was just half a chip.
last time I had a little
Ooh.
sliver of that.
All right.
Ooh, okay.
We can do this.
Yeah, we got it. So
We're gonna be
Dr. K,
apex predators, Brian.
Apex Predator. I'm feeling it right now. Apex Predators only. Okay. So, one time I heard a doctor say this, and he said, strive for learning it, and the grade will come.
Yeah.
I know sometimes it can be all about the grade when we're here at this university. Sometimes it's better to look a little further than that. Look a little further than that, and say, if it's not the grade, how can we really value the actual learning over the grade? Do you think the university does its best job to make sure that happens?
To various degrees, yeah, I think so. I think it has to be from both sides, right? I think students have to value their learning, and then faculty have to also design courses and assessments that focus on learning and kind of imbue that culture of wanting to learn and really inculcate curiosity and knowledge rather than just worrying about how do you get a good grade. So both things matter.
I love that, Dr. K. Thank you so much. I don't have a lot of follow-up after that one.
I can imagine why not, Brian.
But given that we have a little extra time and we're still suffering, I'm gonna start throwing in some questions.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
What would you say has been your most embarrassing moment? It could be a UCI or it could be period, man.
Not embarrassing, but this is one of the funniest moments I had in class.
All right.
So this is back, I was teaching this class, and I was introducing students to these things called microRNAs. Anyway, it doesn't matter what they are, but essentially they've been, they're involved in pretty much a lot of diseases, a lot of conditions and stuff, right? And they're also involved in aging.
All right.
Okay. So I did this thing with students, and I said, hey, you guys like shout out, a disease, and I'll tell you if microRNAs are involved in it or not. So students were like, cancer. I was like, yep. They were like, whatever, Alzheimer's. Yep. And then a bunch of them, we went on and on, most of them were yes. But then I wanted to get them to say aging, right? So I tried to be clever, and I said, and there's this one disease no one's mentioned yet, but all of you have it, even I have it, everyone has it, we're all suffering from this, right? What do you think it is? And there was this moment of silence, right? Everyone's quiet, everyone started thinking, but it was a split second, and immediately from the back of the class, this one kid yells out, gonorrhea! The whole class is cracked up. Man, it was so funny. But I always remember that. That was a great moment in my life.
That's a magical moment.
Yeah,
really.
Gonorrhea. We all have it. Now you know.
Whether we like it
And
or not.
microRNAs are not involved, by the way.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. That would have been misinforming
Correct.
such a huge crowd out here. So keep that in mind, everybody. Keep that in mind, and always, don't be afraid to be that funny person in the back of the room every now and then.
Be the gonorrhea kid.
Yeah, be that kid. Awesome. Whew. Well, Dr. K, I think,
right.
you know,
We've survived.
We've survived. We've gone through the challenge.
Yeah.
We've gone through the challenge. You know, I feel like I'd like to say, you know, big shout out to, you know, we'll start out with the production crew right here.
Yeah.
You know, coming out, setting up everything beforehand, being so involved and willing to help out with this wonderful project. We couldn't do this without you. So thank you to all of you, and we will credit you. Don't you worry. Also, big thanks to people who helped me out on this project. First off, Ishul, one of my E students who was able to get us this hot chip. So thank you, but also
Ishul, I hate
thank
you.
Yep. Also, yes. Also for someone who was very closely involved helping me with this process, my friend Zot, one of the lead.
Big Z.
Big Z, right? Big Z. You know, you can't see him right now, but you know, maybe he'll make an appearance. But he's
might be here for a 5th year if all goes well.
If all goes well, you might see him. You might see him. You know, we're hoping. So thank you for that. That was very wonderful having you help out throughout this process. And last but not least, thank you so much to Dr. Kadandale. This is what, you know, is so magical about being at a university. This is what really takes that university experience to the next level, where you're not just coming to class, you're not just kind of sitting there, getting your paper, going home, not really thinking about the material. You have people here like Dr. K right here are really invested in the power of student learning, invested into making this experience better for everyone, and also willing to come up here, willing to be vulnerable in front of everybody as well, and share his wonderful experiences. So
and before we leave, thank you to Brian for you know, putting this all together, for taking on the challenge, eating the hot chips with me. I know he doesn't have my same level of spice tolerance, but he like braved it out.
It's a little better.
You know, so thank you for putting this together. It was great fun sitting and chatting with you and doing the Zot chip challenge.
Awesome.
Zot ones. Sorry.
Zot ones. Thank you, Dr. K. Do you want to do a final Zot?
Yeah, let's
Zot
do it.
ones. All right, ready?
Zot, Zot, Zot.